I'm doing the epoxy. It's this silicone, 100% silicone, and I'm using a wet sponge to keep my finger wet and to clean my finger off as I go. I'm doing the inside seam where the two walls join because the walls will flex over time and the silicone is flexible compared to the grout, which is brittle and will crack. I ended up having to clear out the grout from the shower pan to the wall seam all the way around, as well as the grout from the inside corner. It was an oversight when I was doing the grout. I don't know really, I'm not convinced yet that I could have done it any better, because when you're doing grout, it's hard to avoid getting grout into those seams I just pointed out, unless you do the silicone first. I've seen in videos where people do silicone first. That might be the solution. But maybe next time, next time I will try that first. Do silicone first, so your grout's not going to even get into those, so you don't have to spend time cleaning it out. Because it was kind of annoying. I had to use this thing and a chisel, and be really careful not to scratch the shower pan. And a vacuum as I go. And then there's a trick they showed on the video too, is you start with your inside corners with a 3. Blend your inside corners first, and then do the long sections, because it's easier to get your corners perfectly blended in all directions, and let it be tacky before you, and so then you're not like going over one of the legs of the corner later. It's harder to blend. Anyway, that's the update. So I get this, I fill it in whatever seam, whatever cavity is behind it, and fill it in kind of like you're welding, like make sure it's even, overfill without too much excess. Get my finger wet. No, that's not even really wet anymore. Yeah. And just do small sections. Wasn't filming that. Do small sections until you start getting too much build up. Gosh dang it! It's not wet. Let's get to the point where roughed it in. Just coming up soon. There, I've roughed it in, but you still have excess. So keeping your finger wet. Wipe off the excess. On each side of the seam, and then just go back once the excess is gone. Just go back one more time and contour it. Give it the nice contoured bead. Run out of water here. As long as your finger is wet, which is kind of hard to when you don't have water, you're able to kind of like push the excess on the sides away, and come back down with a final contour pass. that's that. And then I have to seal it.
The door was too tall.
Ain't no thing. I got the subfloor figured out. I'm using this stuff called Schluter Dietra, and it's a waffle plastic polymer stuff that goes right over the wood subfloor. Gotta clean the subfloor real good, and use a thin set between the subfloor and this, and then the mortar on top of this, and then that's when the tile goes on. So it's like a intermediate barrier that helps with expansion and contraction, makes it quieter supposedly, and more importantly, the original reason I got it is I'm gonna have wood floor coming in here up to the tile with a little divider, but the elevation's gonna be matched because this stuff is really thin compared to the cement board, which is probably twice as thick. So I didn't want the tile up above the wood floor. Gonna cut around. So wherever there's a gap, I'm gonna use this really expensive, really expensive silicone that's for it. Some people use the cheaper kind, but I just didn't want to cut any corners on that. Cutting corners, plenty of other areas. Oh yeah, we got the shower walls in. Forgot to mention. Got it masked off. I don't want to get thin set or mortar on it. But this is a sign that we had up outside because we had neighbors that were complaining for ridiculous code violations. So all the Dietra, which that orange waffle stuff, has been filled in with thin set. That's what was recommended, is you fill in the waffle with a thin set because it can fill in these little squares easier than the mortar. The mortar is going to go on top of all this once it dries. Yeah, so it's all good. This is the remnants of the tape that waterproofs the two pieces together. So next up will be mortar and tile as soon as tomorrow, which will be Sunday. I did all those in one day. They recommended doing the thin set on top of the waffle Dietra, Schluter or Dietra they call it. They say to do it all in one day, so that's what I did. I'm kind of tired right now. Get a life, Karen. I made a template for the toilet flange. So there's a piece corner there, and there's a piece right there. And now I know where to cut my corner, to notch the corner for this custom piece here. I got all the tricky parts done. A couple, pieces on the ends and everywhere around the door. It might be tricky later, but I got all the main ones done to start with that I can base the rest of it off of. Got a laser. The laser's gonna keep this seam even The other thing is we use this waterproof paint around the edges to help keep the water out of the drywall and the subfloor and all that, in case there's a water leak, because this is all waterproof too. All right, I'm gonna start mudding. Well, my first tile flooring job, and I'm pretty happy with it. I might as well just keep it. I'm not gonna rip it up. The only thing is, like, when I got to the sliver, the parts started to break. I think I started to get the technique down towards the end. Like, I got this full sliver made. I think there's a technique where when you're cutting it, but I didn't learn it till the very end. So I got all these short pieces. Oh, this is where the hardwood comes to. I think next time, I don't know. I don't really know, because I had to do a trade-off. I had to make healthy cuts around the toilet flange, and I didn't want to make anything too weak around there, because there's gonna be so much constant weight. And I mean, the in this case, this room, the trade-off was I have a sliver here and a little bit of sliver there. I don't know. I don't know if there was a solution that was better. I guess maybe, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would have compromised that area that was really critical. So at least that's healthy, and I'll just try to get used to this.